Hi everybody, I'm Louise back again with your Radical Health, and I'm so delighted today to have a woman with me who has been in the trenches of nutrition right alongside me for the past 30 years. And I have none other than Cherie Calbom, who is the juice lady.
Yeah.
And I want to welcome you, Cherie, because you have written 35 books. She has a new book out which is called Souping the New Juicing. And both of us have been the females out there when there weren't many females in the nutrition field. I remember hearing about Cherie from my publisher Avery back when I did Guess What Came to Dinner, the book about parasites. You had a juicing book out then.
Juicing for Life.
Juicing
Yes.
for Life, and it was a very major bestseller. Oh, that my book would have sold as well as Juicing for Life. And then I remember seeing you on television with George Foreman and Richard Simmons. So this woman has been around and she's got quite a pedigree. What we're going to talk about today is juicing and whether juicing has a role in all the current diets that many of you are on, whether there's a place for juicing in keto, in paleo plus, in fat flush or autoimmune paleo. So Cherie, in terms of juicing, who should juice and why?
Oh, well, everybody should juice. You should juice. You should juice. I juice every day. Everybody needs juice. And here's why. It is broken down. It's like a pre-digested food. It's going right into your cells. It's like infusion into your little cells with nutrients. And we all need nutrients. We need so many more nutrients today, I'm convinced, than ever in history.
And I don't disagree with you, but the thought today is that juice is liquid sugar. Some people, some nutritionists, not us out there, talk about juice as being liquid sugar. So when you talk about juicing, are we talking about fruit juicing? Are we talking about vegetable juicing?
Vegetable juicing, for sure.
And which vegetables primarily?
Oh, well, I love all the vegetables. But when it comes to carrots and beets, because they are higher in sugar, I use smaller amounts, and I dilute them.
How many per ounce? So if you have 8 ounces of juice,
One carrot.
So it's 1 carrot, which makes about 2 ounces of juice, would you say?
It depends on your size of carrot, but yes, let's go with 2 ounces. And the same with beets, and I don't combine beets and carrots very often
Too high in
together.
sugar?
Yes, I try to separate them in different juices, and I dilute them, and you can choose high water vegetables that are wonderful to dilute them, like cucumber. Zucchini has a lot of juice. People that can't have cucumber can often have zucchini.
Can have zucchini.
Celery. What others do I put in? Well, I do the leafy greens. You don't get a lot of juice out of those, but you get a powerhouse of nutrients.
So when we talk about juicing, if you were to choose the top 4 veggies or combinations, let me put it this way, that most people should be taking in on a daily basis, it would be which particular 4 vegetables? And I need to say this about leafy greens. There's been a lot of talk about spinach being high in oxalates. So we know that kale also, but not the degree of spinach. And we know that kale may have another toxic element, which is thallium, that they're now talking about. So I think when it comes to the leafy greens, we should look at the lettuces. Is there anything wrong about putting some romaine lettuce in?
Oh, no,
Bib
beautiful.
lettuce or Boston lettuce?
All of them. They're all beautiful.
all of the
and
above.
Juice all of the above. Rotate your leafy greens. That's what I say to people. Don't have the same thing every single day, right? Don't have spinach every day or kale.
So the top 4 veggies. So what did you have this morning? And you know, it's freezing right now here in northern Idaho, where we both have found ourselves over these 35 years of writing and having a very similar trajectory of our career. So the top veggies, and what did you have? So let's talk about the
Cucumber.
top veggies. Cucumber.
I juice that every day, and I love it because I get so much juice. I go, oh, wow, look
But
at
why
that.
would one have cucumber? Because
It gives you a lot of water, a lot of juice.
And
it's
silica.
wonderful, and silicone for the skin. Beautiful for the skin. So everybody wants nice skin, right?
Absolutely.
So juiced cucumbers. Very hydrating in the summer. In the winter, we're not so concerned about that. I was today because I worked out and I was very thirsty. So,
me too.
so have some water.
Thank you.
Celery, I juice almost all the time
Because
because we need natural sodium. And it is my pet peeve that people are told, don't eat celery because of the sodium. No, 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 no. We need natural sodium.
Organic soda. And let me tell you that my good friend Anthony William, the medical medium, feels that celery and celery juice is a must for anybody that needs natural hydrochloric acid. So a little
There you
plug
go.
for my good buddy here. Go
There
ahead.
you go. And it's got other things, phytonutrients that fight cancer. So none of us want it to develop in our bodies, right? We don't want angiogenesis, those little tubes growing out to tumor cells. It stops that. These phytonutrients in celery.
Particular one in celery. So that's kind of an unsung
Yes,
hero then.
it
Who would
is.
think of celery? And of course it has to
Little
be
celery
it has to be
sticks.
organic. It has to be organic.
It all needs to be organic. But let me say quickly, we've got 2 juices and I'm going to do 2 more. But let me say quickly about this organic. Many people say to me, I can't afford everything organic. I mean, an organic lemon is $1, for goodness sakes. Okay, so go to ewg.org. You can get a downloadable app for your phone you can shop with, and it'll give you the dirty dozen or the top 15 or 20 that are loaded with pesticides. Always those should be organic.
Which
always.
would be, when it comes to veggies, which
Thin
ones should you
skinned.
what would you stay away from?
So spinach is always on that list.
Very high.
Kale and chard always seem to end up on that
and
list.
celery is traditionally very high in arsenic unless it's organic.
Yes. So it usually falls on that list or right below it. Carrots usually are right below, like maybe 13, 14, or 15, and it changes every year. That's why I'm giving different numbers. And then thin-skinned things. So we're not juicing the fruit, but you're eating the fruit, I'm sure. And so any thin-skinned fruit, and that's all the berries, and the berries are your lowest glycemic fruit apart from lemons and limes. So get your list. Peppers, sweet peppers, bell peppers are always on that
That
list.
could give some natural sweetness. The sweet bell peppers, provided
red
that you don't
ones.
have a nightshade problem, which
Yes.
is now a very big deal out there among many of my fans and followers. And I would also think, and here's what I'm wondering, as we just, talk about all kinds of different things. So remind me about jicama. I want to talk to you about jicama in 1 minute and one little
love
minute. In
jicama.
one little minute, because I think that gives natural sweetness.
It does.
And I'm going to be coming out with a new book next year called Radical Metabolism, and we are going to institute a juicing kickoff, which is a 4-day intensive. And partially it's because I was influenced after meeting my good friend after all these years, Cherie, to really believe that when you juice and you use the right kind of juicer, you've got all the phytonutrients and the phytonutrients specifically, like the polyphenols, which are just generally deficient in the diet. So you're dousing your cells with healthy foods and healthy nutrients so that your body can detox properly. Food goes in, the toxins go out. And there's no other way to do that because so many people are overeating protein in this day and age. They're on a ketogenic diet, which you shouldn't stay on terribly long, by the way. That's kind of a transition diet for most of you, but that's a whole other topic, a whole other show. So my belief is in mostly everybody's regime, even if the weather is, if it's cold outside and the temperatures are dropping, that there's a little place for juice. Because I'm going to start doing that with celery, cucumber, and what are the other 2?
I always add lemon or lime.
So you do some lemon or
Very
lime.
good flavor.
And the third veggie?
Well, it depends on what I've got. I use fennel. I've got fennel right now, and I
digestion?
love fennel.
For digestion?
And it's known as a natural mood elevator, lifting your endorphins.
How
Now, there's
cool
no
is that?
study on that, but it's just known to do that. So I call it the morning, happy morning energizer juice.
And it's good for bloating, and it's a deep bloater, so you could do fennel.
I do a lot of fennel
I'm
in
really
my
loving
juices.
this. Well, I
A lot
always
of
wonder
juice.
in terms of the greens because I know that we stay away. I've stayed away from the spinach a little bit more. Kale, I personally do not care for. And I love the concept of putting a little fennel in there as a debloater. And fennel also is a natural phytoestrogen, by the way.
Oh,
Just so that,
I'm learning
so
something.
you should know.
I'm learning something, and I add ginger. We were talking about that earlier, an anti-inflammatory,
Oh,
warming. And,
How much do you add?
well, I love ginger, so I
think
add
I need some
big,
now, by the way.
big chunks, like about 2 inches or more, because I like it. But some people do not like that hot, spicy flavor.
I love that.
Start off, then you would like a big chunk. Start off, if you are not sure about ginger, start off with a little chunk, maybe 1 inch chunk.
1 inch chunk.
But 2 inches, 3 inch chunks, I throw it all in. And you don't have to peel it unless it looks kind of old and gnarly, and then I peel it. But scrub it really
See,
well.
ginger, I mean, you just wouldn't think about ginger. And you could also throw in turmeric, as I know that. You told me a little bit off camera. So you got the
Yes.
turmeric, you got ginger. Is there any other spice or herb that you wouldn't think of in your feelings about jicama?
Oh, well, let's go with jicama first. I love to add jicama. You get a lot of juice out of it, first of all, which makes you feel wonderful. You know, not have to stand here all day on juice. And it's sweet. It adds a little sweetness, and it adds a nice flavor to your juices. So I love to add jicama. And you don't have to peel it. The thing is just scrub it really well.
Scrub it really
Buy
well.
organic, and that's the best.
Of course, and it's a prebiotic, so it's good for your gut to get the microbiome happy and humming so that you got all the skinny bugs in there. Loving jicama. So you could
Skinny
do...
bugs, I love it.
Okay, you can quote me on that. So you've got the skinny bugs in there
will.
because it's so important, and it's also good for your brain because what goes on in your gut also transfers to the brain. And a
Oh,
healthy
yes.
gut is a healthy brain.
Yes.
So you've got those juices. What fruits should you not juice and why?
I don't juice any fruit except for lemons and limes, and when I can find them, cranberries, fresh cranberries.
Well,
We're
of course.
coming into fresh cranberry
Cranberries,
season.
everybody
Yeah,
out there.
you're the
Cranberries.
cranberry queen, right? So you can juice those. Here's the deal: if
I
you've got
wouldn't even think about that.
Oh, they're
You could-
so good for you.
You go get the organic, hopefully.
they're a fat flush. Somebody said.
Oh, well, yeah, it's our claim to fame. It's cranberry and cranberry juice. But my point is, I never thought of juicing them.
Well, turn
Of
your
course, so
machine
we
off.
we buy
Put 'em in.
cranberry juice. We buy cranberry juice, but the concept of juicing them to this city girl is just a little
Fresh
wonderful.
cranberries.
It's fresh cranberries. So you can stock up on them now because they're
Yes.
now in all the stores.
Yes.
Put them in the freezer, and then you just take them out. I mean, I have a whole freezer full of frozen cranberries, which I'm going to make sauce out of, or Teresa will be making sauce out of sometime soon.
But you can juice some of them.
I
Here's
know,
a
I
little
didn't even
tip.
think of this.
Turn your juicer off if you've got a centrifugal because they'll go flying out if you have the motor running. So turn your machine off, put in your cranberries, put your plunger on, then turn your machine on and juice them.
It's totally cute, totally adorable. Well, we're in front of a live audience. We've got several people here that we're watching the Juice Lady and me talk about health and juicing and where it fits into trendy diets. So I'm going to ask Teresa now to tell us what the audience needs to know. Teresa, take it away.
Okay, our first question is, how does juicing fit in with fat flush?
So how does juicing fit into fat flush? I think that if you're going to be making a smoothie currently, you could actually juice those veggies that you're putting into your Vitamix because you're getting the fiber with your seeds that you're putting in there. And I don't mind a little celery, a little now jicama, a little bit of cucumber, as well as zucchini, which I never thought of juicing.
Oh, it's
with
beautiful.
lemon and lime, and you could put that in your smoothie, so it definitely does fit in. Or you could do this, I'm thinking in the 4-day, the kickoff that we have, which is actually 3 days. If you want to put some fresh juice in there, you'll be getting your enzymes, the phytonutrients, and all the polyphenols that clean up the cells. So I really think that there's a place for it. And you're going to see when Radical Metabolism comes out, there's an actual 4-day intensive, as I mentioned before, where you'll have some wonderful combinations. Is there another question?
Yes, what is the difference between blending and juicing? If I have a Vitamix, can I juice in there or do I need a separate juicer?
Oh, you take that away. What is the difference?
I get asked that all the time. So there is a big difference. One is a blended drink. You might call it a smoothie. All the fiber is there. Everything's in one container.
Right.
So you got a Ninja maybe, or you got a Vitamix, and they sold it to you, and they told you were getting a juicer. This happens all the time. I get questions from people all the time.
Oh.
Oh, but the salesperson
False
told me I was getting a
advertising.
juicer. No, it's not a juicer. It's a blender. Your Ninja's a blender. Your Vitamix is a blender. Your Blend Tech is a blender. Those are all blenders, and they make shakes or smoothies or raw soups. But everything's in one container. A juicer, on the other hand, separates the fiber. It'll go one way, and the juice will pour out another way out of the spout.
So when it comes to juicers, is there a better juicer that's on the market? Because years ago I used to use the Champion juicer. And I would have all these carrots, and I would be drinking 8 ounces of carrot juice and couldn't understand why I was getting that sugar high and low.
Oh,
Because that's what we did way back in the 70s.
Yes, carrot juice was really big. So here I've got the very best juicer for you.
Okay.
Are
I
you
wish
ready?
we had it
Are you
here.
ready?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the one you'll use every day.
Which is?
The one you'll use every day. Now here's how I want to answer that. People ask me all the time because there are all these very expensive juicers. You can get them thousands of dollars.
Now I get it. The juicer. I thought that was the name of the new juicer.
Well, it should be, and maybe someday we'll come out with a new juicer named that. But here's the deal. There are so many different sales pitches out there for this is the best juicer, this is the best juicer, this preserves more nutrients. No, this one does. And I have people coming to me so confused. It's like, oh my goodness, what do I do?
What do I do?
It is true, as far as I can tell from the limited studies I've seen, that a masticating kind of juicer, like a single auger or twin gear or a press, cold press, does preserve more nutrients. The centrifugal, with the wider mouth, fast, spins around, is going to get more oxygen in there, and you will lose a few more nutrients. But here's the deal. People spend all this money. They get the perfect juicer. It's going to preserve every nutrient. It takes so much time to use and clean that they put it under their shelf and they never use it again.
So give us the name of the best juicer.
I like the Breville 800.
What's it called?
The Breville.
How do you spell that?
Breville and JXEL 800. It's the top of the line Breville.
Breville 800.
And
Breville
it's centrifugal. It's not the perfect preserve every nutrient, but you know what? I am so busy. You're busy. You're busy. I know. Everybody watching's busy. We don't. Most of us don't have time to stand there for 20 minutes, cutting everything up in little pieces and getting perfect juice.
So this is very. But what do you do?
Let's just do it.
So what do you do with the pulp? So now you have all this pulp. What can we do with the pulp? So if it separates the juice from the pulp, the wheat from the chaff, so to speak,
Right.
what do we do with the pulp? Can you use that for something?
Well, lots of people do. I have people who put it in soups, stews, salads. I like, if I'm juicing carrot, I save the carrot pulp, and it's great. It's a little carrot salad with lemon and olive oil dressing.
And
I
does
put
it
a little
actually
cinnamon
have
in
a
there.
little taste to it?
Oh, it
after
does.
you juice with
Yeah,
this?
and it's a ton of fiber.
Oh.
So you can do that. On my liver cleanse, I have a beet salad and a carrot salad, and I make them with the pulp because it's supposed to be finely grated. Well, the pulp is about as finely grated as you can get.
Oh,
so
see, that's a
wonderful.
That's a very good tip. So years ago, I just remember the Champion juicer. Then I went on to the Jack LaLanne juicer, and it was so complicated that it's under it's somewhere in my house.
Yes.
Teresa, another question for the juice lady.
Do you have any cleanup tips for juicing?
I do. Oh, I was just going to mention that. I'm so glad you asked that. So here is
She read the script very well today, might I say.
She did. So here's my number one tip for saving time and cleanup. Line that pulp catcher, if that's the kind you have, with a baggie. The free baggies from the grocery store produce section. Put a baggie in there. When you're done, take it out. You don't have to wash that. Pretty cool. So now you're down to maybe just 3 parts. Like with the Breville, I've got 3 parts. I've got the lid. I take the sprayer at the sink. So you wanted some pressure, and I just spray the whole thing really fast. I'm done in seconds, like maybe 20 to 30 seconds. And then the juice bowl on the Breville, it's stainless, so things just don't stick. They just slide right out. So I spray that really fast. I'm done in about 10 seconds. I've had to time this because I'm asked so much. How long did it actually take you? So it's 1 minute, and then I go to the blade basket. And again, I put that under running water, first spray it on both sides, and then I take a little vegetable brush and just go around on both sides, and I'm done. I put it in the drainer and let it drain. The plunger is like 1 second to rinse off. I am done in 1 minute. So I've got it down. Juicing is about 5 minutes, and cleanup is about 1 minute.
Do you talk about that, by the way, show this cover to everybody. Do you talk about that in Souping the New Juicing? Do you give those tips in there?
I've got some tips in here, and then in my other book, the Juice Lady's big book of juices and green smoothies.
You've got all the
wonder.
So that's so wonderful
there.
to know.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to think of the best juice for a female, just give me the 2 top vegetables to make sure it would be in that combination. So the 2 top, for my people that are before the change, during the change, or after the change.
Oh, you got to get ginger in there.
Okay, so ginger. So ginger.
Turmeric.
Ginger, because we just did a book, we actually updated before the change, and I know ginger, I think it's got thermogenic abilities. I don't know if it's a phytoestrogen. Ginger, okay, that 2-inch ginger piece.
Yes, and yes, for all the reasons
So
you named
number
and so
one
much
is ginger.
more. And I would do cucumber because of for your skin, the silicone.
Well, we love that for the skin. I'm not personally crazy. This is a little aside. We're just going to talk about it for a minute. I'm not crazy a lot about the bone broth products that are on the market. There's a lot of bone broth protein products. What are your feelings about that?
Be very careful. That's what I would say. Be very careful and get an organic one. There are
If
some,
any at all.
yes, if any at all. I make
And we're talking about
my
the
own.
protein products.
Yes.
Well, I do too, but sometimes when you don't have time, there is one
Yes.
company that I actually tested myself, and that is the Kettle and Fire. I really like their
Yes.
it tests
They have a
very
good
well.
one.
Some of those other ones that said that they were high end had a lot of fluoride in them, so I'm very
Mm-hmm.
concerned about that. So I just wanted to talk about that because when it comes to collagen, and we're at the age where we talk about collagen, I think about it all the time. You know, your
Mm-hmm.
skin, your hair, and your nails. I think it's very important to understand that you can get this naturally in some of these fruits and vegetables, and you don't have to resort to a powder where you
No.
don't really know what's in there. And if you're getting the bones of something, you have to understand that the bones are a repository, I guess you could call it an organ. So whatever's out there in the environment, from strontium 90 to whatever else is there, from lead and maybe a number of other pesticides and herbicides, they go into the bones. Because I remember way back, and this is back in the day, and you'll remember too, where they took, was it bone meal? They took it off the market because it was so high in lead. So
Yes,
we're
yes.
back to bones, and they have to be healthy bones. All right, end
They're
of discussion.
hard to find. Yes. Well, that's where juicing comes in. And you spoke about nails. So many people that have gotten on juicing have emailed me to say, wow, my nails started growing. I had a...
Finally.
Yeah. And I go in all the time and have my nails done, and they just shoot out. So every time I go in, they're saying, wow, they're so long. Don't you want them clipped off a
And
little
your
bit?
skin has such a nice glow, and you've got great hair. So, I mean, she's just a walking example of what you can do for juicing for life, as far as I'm concerned. Teresa, any more questions for our
Yes,
audience?
we have a couple. What are your favorite combinations of juicing for weight loss?
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Because our audience is very much involved with weight loss. They love weight loss, menopause, perimenopause, and parasite cleansing. We should talk about that.
Oh, we should.
Yes.
Which juices come into that too. So for weight loss, cranberries, of course, are wonderful. Ginger is in there. I love lemon. I love to get that in. And again, our really low sugar vegetables, any of them, from the green leafy greens, the lettuces, the cucumber, the zucchini,
Love
celery,
romaine.
all of that. Fennel is wonderful. Jicama would
This
be
is
great.
all fat flush friendly for my fat flushers out there. This is so fat flush friendly, and I'm so glad that you mentioned cranberry. I'm very grateful to you in reference to
It's
cranberry.
the season. I start
It's-
thinking about it because we start seeing it in November.
It's the
It pops
season, so
up.
that's where, again, you have to load up so that you have these for
Yes.
juices. And it's very good because it's a natural diuretic, which is very important around the holidays when we're eating too much sugar or too much salt. So I think that's an excellent, excellent point. Any other questions?
Yes.
We're gonna
Would,
end up quickly. I know that people have been joining us for at least 20, 25 minutes, and I want to have them go and get a juicer and get Cherie's book.
Well, can juicing specifically help with gut issues?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the gut and maybe a little something about parasites for those of you out there that are worm fans the way I am as the original worm lady. Okay.
Oh, me too. Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
Yes.
we have stories about that.
Lots
but
of
go
stories.
ahead.
Oh, goodness. Well, we want to get rid of those parasites, absolutely. But what about gut? Here's the thing I say about juice. So many people have impaired digestion today, and we are not absorbing the nutrients from the foods we eat and the supplements we take. Some of it is so bad, people just say the food's going right through me. I've had so many people say that. That's where juice comes in. It's going to go right into your cells.
And for people that are really ill, for people, God forbid, that have a degenerative disease or
Right.
cancer sufferers, I think it's so very important.
This is your lifesaver. And I always talk about what is going to give your cells life, what is going to give your body life. This is live food. It is pure live food. It is the best form of nutrients that you can get going right into your cells. So this is going to help with gut issues, with weight loss. I'm going to go back for a second to weight loss because when we are well fed, we're not so hungry. You know, our brain says, oh, I've got what I need.
So can you, and I think about the parasite connection because I always think of that. You have to wash your fruits and vegetables very carefully,
Yes.
especially the leafy greens,
Yes.
just to make sure that there are no parasitic eggs that are on those leafy greens, which is one of the reasons when I go out to eat, I never have salads because you never know if they're washed properly or what kind of water. So it's important to get a water filtration system in your house to make sure that it's parasite free. You're blocking the parasites, the heavy metals, and the chemicals, and then you can go to town.
Oh,
And what would you do for parasite? I mean, I don't know if this is a specialty of yours. I was thinking of garlic.
garlic, and you can juice garlic.
Oh,
and
that's
it tastes good.
Oh my gosh.
You will be shocked. So here's the garlic challenge. Throw in a clove. You don't have to peel it. That's the beauty. Just pull off a clove, toss it in, and see what you think. I'll bet you won't even know it's there.
Oh, for gosh sakes.
I don't even know it's there.
For gosh sakes. One last question before we let our audience go.
One last question. Let's see here. We noticed your new book about souping. Does souping have the same benefits as juicing?
Souping, does it have the same benefits as juicing? You know, we have a fat flush soup, which is very popular. Because this is the season to really warm your soul and warm your innards, so to speak. The only thing that I wonder about juicing, and I'm just going to throw this in there because it's something that I have been always conscious of. For those of us that are very vata in the Ayurvedic tradition, and I'm one of those people, probably very vata. In other words, you're very airy, you're very in your head. Juicing is cooling.
Right.
Okay, so how do you get around that for somebody that's very much in their heads and is very vata, or when the weather is so well? You put the ginger in, which is warming.
Ginger is warming.
So the ginger would probably be the answer there. But I think it's interesting to kind of know that there's certain traditions that believe that your food should be cooked, and one of those is Ayurveda. If in fact you're one of those individuals.
Yes, and I know their philosophy. I like to combine things. To have some cooked food, have some soup because it is grounding, warming, nourishing. I call it the healthiest comfort food on earth.
So you put together the best of both worlds.
I do. I combine them, and I never throw anything out. If you want your green smoothie and you've got your Vitamix, great. That's fiber for your colon. You need juice for your cells, juice to get right into your little cells and perk them up every day. Have a warming soup now that it's cold weather season. I've got the watercress soup and the watercress soup diet, which is wonderful for weight loss, and it's delicious. I've got a whole bunch of soups, creamy soups without the cream, and lovely soups without the gluten and no sugar, so we can have all of it. Do it all.
Do it. And on that note, to do it all, I'm going to say thank you so much, Cherie. It's been a pleasure having you. You can see we're very excited about health, so please join me next time when we talk about slimming down for the holidays. So I'm Ann Louise saying thank you for joining us for Radical Health.